I'm Tony, and today we're going to talk film. More specifically, how to film, how to video yourself and yourself doing things. The biggest question I'm getting lately is, well, how do you have all these cameras? How do you get all these camera angles? Can you film this thing? I can't get a good overhead shot. I can't get a good selfie shot. I can't do these things. And it's a really daunting thing if you don't know where to start. I have been doing a lot of teaching through Zoom, through online streaming. I've been doing a lot of stuff with that, as well as jelly roll races, and everything. And that's the biggest thing that's stopping people from participating, is they don't know how to set the camera to where I can see what they're doing, or even on themselves. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the correct camera angles, how to get a more flattering angle, how to get a better shot up close. I'm going to be talking about different kinds of ways to hold your cameras. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the different types of cameras. Now, these are all going to be generalities. I am not going to go into super specifics about, I think you should do this, because honestly, everyone is different. Everyone has different needs. You may want to make YouTube films. You may want to do tutorials. You may just want to participate in a Zoom call where the person can see you and what you're doing. So depending upon what your needs, hopefully I'm going to go over the basics and do a couple of suggestions. But you are going to be the one to make the decisions of what you want. So if you need help with more specifics, please comment down below, and I may be able to help or point you in the right direction. Camera angles. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. So this camera angle that we have right now is what's called the straight on shot. That is, the camera is equal with my face and with my eyes, and I'm looking directly into it. I'm going to show you a few camera angles with my phone. This is how I'm going to be holding it. I'm going to be taking my thumb and my hand. I grab onto the phone like this. I have my thumb free. That way I can start and stop it. Now, normally when you take selfies, you're like this. But I want to make sure that the camera angle, having it on the horizontal, I can put it into this video without a problem. So I'm actually going to be doing it like this in order to start and stop it. So I'm going to be moving my phone all around to show you the different angles of you and which is the most flattering and why, to hopefully help you be able to position that camera in a better way when you're doing selfies, when you're filming yourself. There we go. Now, just to warn you, you are going to see a little bit behind the curtain with this video. You're going to see some of the background that you don't see because camera angles hide it. Look at, see, there's all my stuff. Oh, look at that mess down there. Oh, that's a horrid mess. And then, of course, if I come over here, oh, yeah, no, look at, that's a horrible. Oh, there's all my stuff. But these are things that you don't see whenever I have the camera angles a certain way, it's going to hide it. Now, I am holding my camera exactly like what I just showed you with my fingers and not with my thumb. So let's talk camera angles. So I have it straight on like this. Whenever you're taking film of yourself, if it's on your cell phone or another place, you always want to look up. So right now I'm looking up towards the camera, and let me show you why, because as I go down, here's our straight on shot, but then as I go down here, oh, that's not a flattering shot at all. No, that is not flattering, but you notice how the straight on is a regular shot, but then the more I go up, oh, that's a lot more flattering. Look at that. So whenever you're doing your shots, make sure you're going up and looking down, so you're looking up to the camera, or you're doing a straight on. Never, ever, ever look down at that camera, because, oh, that's horrible. All right, so now let's talk about taking shots of your stuff. Yeah, you may have also noticed that the sound was a little off with that one. It's because I was using the sound on my phone with my camera. I will actually show you how I mount my microphone also in a bit. So filming your things. There's a couple of things that you can do to hold and mount a camera either on yourself so your hands are free or on your things. The biggest thing that I use are arms. I love my arms. So the arms are held by this right here. So the way it works is you take this and you put it someplace. Sorry. You put it someplace that is sturdy, that can hold it, and then you wind it up. It has a hole right here that your arm actually puts in it. Now that's nice because your arm can be mounted a couple of different ways. It comes with this, but it can also be mounted on things like this. You saw a little bit with the selfie video. I've got a couple of things up there. I'm going to move the camera in a moment to show you. This is a mount where I can actually take this. I can take this part off and put my mount onto here and bolt this to the wall. But it comes like this. And this is something that I actually have mounted up there with a regular camera. It has the little bit right here. So I guess I should show you that first. All of your mounts that are meant to go with cameras have this bit here. And that is to put into that bit right there. So all of your DSLRs, your cameras, your things like that will always come with this. You just take this and you screw it right in here in order to mount it, to hold it. If you have a tripod, it may have this little disc right here, or it may be embedded into the tripod. This little pop out right there is to screw it in so you don't have to spin your camera around on the tripod. Now let's say if you're doing this on your phone and you need to take a selfie of your phone hands-free or on your item. There is this little gadget here. Now all these gadgets I'm showing, I'm putting links down below if you decide that you like these gadgets and you want to get them for yourself. I'm not recommending one over the other. So this is a phone holder. It expands out. There's also one for an iPad holder. And you see it has the little thing right there. So that this can go right into, I know I'm spinning it instead of using the little thing right here. It can go right into your mount and hold your phone or hold your iPad. Now, clamps. There's a couple of different clamps. This is my favorite. If you've watched any of my live streams, you may see an iron cam or a cat cam or a dog cam or things like that. This is how I get it with this clamp. It's great because you can hold the camera here and you can clamp it there. Now, the greatest thing about these clamps too is, let's say if in a pinch I need something. Here's my arm. I can pinch it right onto there. So whenever I do English paper piecing where I have right here, not on my mat, this is how I get it. I take this right here, and I'll show you over here where it's mounted to, and I can do this and hold it just above. And that's how you get those down shots. So with arms, and there's two different arms that I have down below. I've got the regular one that I have for my microphone and for other things, and I'll show you up there. And then the super long one. This one's actually 3 feet long. It gets to a lot of different places and has really helped up my camera game lately to show those really nice close shots of my machine to where we can do that. So let me show you what I've got mounted on the wall behind me next. For those of you that watch my live streams, you may recognize the Marley coughing in the last segment. I was like, do I refilm that? You know what? No. This one is all about behind the scenes and actually seeing what's happening. And of course, he thinks I'm streaming. So he thinks that, hey, let's say hi to everyone. Say hi, Marley. All right, let's talk about mountings. Let's talk about how you're going to hold things. This is the behind the scenes. So whenever I'm doing my YouTube videos, I do a very close up of just this area and the pretty area that I have staged over here. My big chair, which is an amazing Vertigear chair that I got from St. Jude, tends to be in the way sometimes, so I push it off. This is my microphone, so this is what's picking up my sound right now. This is a standard, regular mount that is mounted to my desk that is off to the side. Now this mount, as you see here, I've got it right here. Now this is an extra piece of board that I had to put in. Remember how I talked about whenever you Where is my little thing? Did I put it? Oh, I put it down somewhere. Haha! These have to be stable and mounted someplace. Well, the problem is this big thing that I have right here is actually about 15 pounds. It is super heavy, but it's amazing because I can move it all around and do all sorts of different things with it. So I can move it over here and do shots here. I can move it down here and do shots there at my sewing machine. I can do it all around. But it's so heavy, it has to be mounted in a really good position. I could not get it mounted to the wall in a way that I wanted, so I needed to mount it to something. I did not have anything sturdy enough or nice enough to mount it to. I actually went out and I bought this. It's a nice sturdy bookcase. It is bolted to the wall so it's not going to move. Now the problem is this is IKEA, and I love IKEA for inexpensive furniture. It's great, but it is not solid wood. So what happened when I first mounted it after a week, it started to push through and it actually popped the wood a little bit. So I went out and I did a little engineering like I like to do, and I got some trim. This is actually a piece of white trim that I have put right there in order to support it. And that fixed the problem. So that's the thing you have to think about when you're mounting these things. Now, you see up here, there are two things up there. The first in the center is my mount for my computer camera that I use for streaming. I used to use that camera when I did my first YouTube videos. If you go back and you look at the videos where it was an overhead shot, but it's not super clear and nice, it was with that camera, with the computer camera. This camera that's doing most of my shots is a DSLR camcorder. And I actually have it feeding into my machine. I plan on doing future videos on if you want to stream crafting or creative, some tips and tricks and things. If I've already done it, there's a link down below. If not, it's coming. And I'm going to talk about how you can feed all these things into your computer for video, for YouTube, or for creative streaming. But in the meantime, I have that mounted right there. Now that mount there is this one that I talked about. So all it is I've taken this and I've driven it into the wall, and then I've moved this around in an angle so it's right there. And then I fed it through with the wires. So you never see wires when I'm streaming because they're kind of hidden. Now this right here is the other arm. This is the exact same size as the arm that I have for my microphone. This is the normal size arm. So with this, it actually came with this. This is actually the mount for this arm right here. But I wanted to have it in a way that I can pop cameras on here. So let's say if I'm streaming and I want to have two different shots, but using two different cameras for what I'm doing here. I have that camera for the wide, and I'm going to put another camera, maybe this one, maybe this one. Yes, I have a lot of cameras right here that's going to go like this. And then what I can do is make this camera zoom in, have that one be the wide, and because of the positioning of it, you don't see this arm. You don't see this extra camera. So there's a couple of things that you can do in order to do that. Now, let's say if you're in a pinch. You have to do something this week. You can't wait for something to be sent in the mail. There's so many things that you can do. You can take a lamp, a lamp that has an extender, put your phone on the lamp, and put rubber bands around it. You can clamp things to different things. When I first started streaming, I used my my lights. I used my standing lights, and I clamped things to that because I didn't know where to put things and how to do it. The point is, the first thing you should do is think about camera angles, and then think about how you're going to attach things. Last but not least, let's talk lighting. This, what you can't see, that's lighting everything up here without shadows. When you look at some of my first videos, there's shadows everywhere. I didn't have any ring lights. I didn't do any of that. That's a ring light. So it's a beautiful ring light that is bright, and it makes sure there's no shadows everywhere. It's actually not expensive. I've got a link down below. But of course, if you can't afford that, there's also a mini ring light. So if you're doing just makeup tutorials, close-up tutorials, so this is what I use whenever I'm doing things here on my cutting mat or up on my machine. I'm actually putting this just in front of the camera and then turning this on. And it creates no shadows and it creates all the light that you need. You also notice that there's this thing right there. This is a daylight mounted light. So it's on a gooseneck, so it turns, and it's mounted to, that's a ribbon holder. I needed something to mount it to, so I went down to the local craft store and I found something on discount that I thought could attach to. And sure enough, look, it's beautiful. It's great. It's awesome. So that light, as you see when I turn it on, it brings all the lights. And it's great when I have overhead shots because it's going to come right down here and it's going to give me some nice light without any shadows at all. So think about your lighting. Think about how you're going to present it and what you're going to do. Now, of course, if you're just doing a Zoom chat, if you're just doing a jelly roll race virtually or anything like that, lighting's not important. It's more about the camera angles. But if you're going to do something more with it, with tutorials or YouTube or things like that, think about the lighting. It is important. And yeah, hopefully that's it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've got to go over with you. Let's see. What did we go over today? We went over angles. We went over ways to mount it. Oh, I didn't mention this one. This is a claw type thing. So you see, this is how I use to mount this one. It grabs around whatever you're doing. A lot of times I will grab around here. My little thing popped off. Let me get that back onto there. Oops, that pops off all the time, by the way. Because this one is not an expensive ring light at all, but it does the job. Oh, all right, fine. I'm going to keep that off. I'll put that back on later. So here it goes around and then there. See, and then it holds it like that, and then the camera goes through. So it, think about the lighting, the mounts, things like that. We talked about hacks. Yeah, I think that's it. So hopefully you learned something in my little behind the scenes, more laid back kind of video. Hopefully you learned something. Wait, I just said that. Normally I'd edit that out, but I'm not going to do that today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, as well as my YouTube channel. And don't forget about my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and Quite Nerdy Quilters Facebook group. And Twitch, where right now I stream live. And you can interact with me, and you can see all these cameras and all these lights in place. Again, if you have any questions, concerns, anything at all, please feel free to put them down in the comments. I would be more than happy to answer them. Thank you.